And let me show you the MIDI. This is what the MIDI looks like for that lead. And then this is another instance where I have it layered with a bass layer. And that bass layer, let's just look at the serum real quick, just gonna be like a sine wave. So keeping it simple with that bass layer and just creating a lot of the sound with that top layer. Let's go ahead and just start with this initial preset. I'll add on some noise. Let's do analog bright white. So for oscillator B, I'm going to do the basic shapes, and then I'll raise this up to the square wave and lower the octave to -3 octave, so down 3 octaves. And then I'm going to add on this PWM and raise this up. Adjust this level a bit. You'll notice in the sound that there is this like pitch bend sound. So let me play the original sound one more time. And in order to do that, I have to automate that pitch bend. So there is a pitch bend going to be created with the LFO1 and then also with the LFO2. So I'll adjust this LFO1, set the rate to 1/8 and set it to envelope mode. And then I'll go ahead and adjust this LFO2. Set this to, let's turn off the BPM and just raise up this rate and turn it on envelope. Now I'll go to my matrix, and this is where I can actually adjust that pitch bend. So for LFO1, this is just going to be a really small pitch bend. So I'm going to raise this up to +1 and set the destination to the global master tuning. And then I'll click on this arrow so that it only goes unipolar. And now we can hear that small pitch bend. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to turn my voicing on to mono. And now for LFO2, I'm going to raise this up to 24, so that's going to be up 2 octaves. Destination to the master tuning again. Click on this arrow so it only goes to the right. And now in order to automate this, I'm going to go to the aux source and set this to my macro 1, which is going to be this wheel here, or this knob. And then I can automate this knob, and this is what the automation is going to look like. And I'll go ahead and put on that kickstart so you can hear it better with that sidechain compression. Now let's go ahead and add on some distortion. Let's raise that drive all the way up. And then add on a multi-band compressor. And I'm going to add on EQ and roll off that low end because I'm adding in the low end on a separate track. And go ahead and increase the high end. And I'm going to add on a filter and do the MG Low 24 filter just so I can cut off some of the top end. And then also I like to use this to add back some drive. And then I'll just add in some reverb, like a hall reverb. And then I'm automating some parameters of the reverb and also that EQ that I added in. So here is going to be the reverb wet knob. I'm just automating this to increase right before the drop or when the drums come in. And then you can also hear that I'm just automating the frequency, cutting off the low end during this part and then increasing that reverb and then bringing in back the low end when the drums come in and then putting on that kickstart too. And that's a way to help give that lead more impact when it hits with the drums. Now let's go ahead and replay the sound and I'll display it with all this MIDI so you can kind of see what's going on.